We can go ahead and get started. Kami is out today, so I'm going to be starting the meeting, getting the announcements going, and then Bethany will be taking over the ALC portion. I think our other, we have two ALC members out, and I think the other two will show up here just a couple minutes late. So, but I think they will be here. So, welcome everyone. We can go ahead and start with bucket fills. Bucket fills, something good, anything new?
We were just talking about, the weather, and I'm excited that the groundhog is wrong because it's supposed to be warm this weekend.
It's 6 more weeks. It's supposed to get to 40 this week.
Considered winter. I know, but like March is always the snowiest month of the year, so it's like no matter what, we're gonna.
It's interesting. That is not the case.
It's not.
I have that on the news. I always thought that too. March was the snowiest month.
What is it?
December is the snowiest. January 2nd and February.
We've been lied to.
Yeah, I went, wait. They had it on the news the other night. It was a trivia question.
Or I say that fact often. I've lied to a lot of people.
It feels like it's the snowiest because we want it to be.
Yeah, maybe that's
Probably. Yeah.
Sorry, Bethany, I totally.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually I was gonna bucket fill you candy, just that I have never had this much CE done early in the year. I have a habit of not even starting until like June 15th. And so I am just grateful that I have over half of my CE done. Thank you for setting all that up.
I do too, actually. So, and that's pretty, I've usually done a little sooner than that, but yeah, it's exciting to have that nice of a start on it.
Thank you for taking advantage.
Yes. It's nice to have free CE offered in the market center. I mean, that's huge. So, yeah, it's really nice.
it would be kind of funny though. I mean,
Actually, like to cut that up. I know in the past I felt like, oh, I don't want to do in person because I'll just do it online, and then I just never make the time to do it online. And if you do it in person, you can actually catch up on your email while you're in class. So you can multitask.
And if you do it online, you still have to use the timer. So you're not getting through it any faster than if you were sitting in person. So
Just a plug for we have more upcoming CEs. So yes. I also like the bucket fill that Scott got some Ash today. Their prints are I love it. Your prints are coordinating. Yeah. He's like,
We actually did. We did for a whole week in Puerto Vallarta last week. So.
I'm glad I didn't get
Very appropriate for Gary.
Something good that happened, and just to continue to champion, doing the DTD2 and staying in relationship with your people. This last week, I got a text from a former client, now friend, who said her husband's aunt passed away and her son will be calling me, and it's probably $1 million plus referral in the YZ area. And, just that people think of you and are recommending you, and because you're in a relationship with them, that feels like a win. I don't have the listing yet, but I'm celebrating just that.
It's a huge win that you're the first person to come to their mind. That's a big step over in real estate, isn't it? I mean, I would think so when you're the first person to come to mind with your friends and family. Mm-hmm.
Alex, you have to tell us something good.
sounds great. Well, actually, Eric, behind me, just.
I was being a gentleman. I was being a gentleman. First time, so please.
Good. Appreciate Jillian and April. I have a list coming on down in Wabasha, so I had to go do content yesterday, and April has a lot of work to do on editing my content. Appreciate it. Love that. Wabasha.
Isn't that where grumpy old men?
Sure is.
Come over, I'll tell you all about it.
Gotta go to-
It was closed on Mondays. Yep. Everything,
River, right? The one
Uh-huh.
that goes,
every restaurant down there closed.
Did
on
they
Monday.
open back up though? Cause
I
it
think
was, the
so.
restaurant was like closed.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
was it?
yeah, I went out there on my motorcycle trip last year, so. was
Okay,
open.
and it was reopened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully they're.
Fully furnished Airbnb if anybody is looking for one.
You have what?
Yeah, right.
Airbnb if anybody is looking for one.
All right, anybody else? Before we move on.
Throw that out there.
All right, awesome. I think the training calendar is next. We're just gonna go through the first couple of weeks. Tomorrow we have Matrix 101, Top by Candy. Kind of the basics, or is it a little bit more than that? Reports? Okay. So if you need a refresher or anything about North Star, feel free to come in for that. That'll be great. We have Friday, we have our movies and our popcorn. Next Tuesday, we have our commercial meeting and our team meeting. And then we have a Wednesday class being taught by Kimi, which is, we're calling it Net 100,000. So this is going to be a new series that we're gonna start on the second Tuesday of the month, which is going to give you MREA. We're gonna be following along the MREA on how to net 100 grand. So if you want that, you haven't done it yet, or you just wanna get an additional 100 grand, I would recommend coming to that. And then again, movie day on Friday. Ooh, we have our fun awards. So if you haven't voted yet, there's a big, there's a list of all sorts of fun awards. You know, so we're doing fun awards along with our awards ceremony or our awards celebration luncheon in a couple of weeks. So vote for that. That'll be fun. One of them is like the office dog, who has the best laugh. So some fun things like that. So go ahead and take a look if you haven't already voted.
Nice thing about that, a lot of people are voting and then they just vote once and then the other ones, they just put like a question mark. If you don't know who to vote for, ask. Meet people. Find someone with a great laugh and then you
Yeah.
can vote. Because a lot of these answers I'm getting are like a period. That doesn't help me. Vote for real people. And if you don't know who to vote for, ask someone.
If you do have questions, who's having the most success with open houses, ask around and we can see who it is. So awesome. Thanks, Lydia. And then our awards ceremony, our luncheon awards ceremony will be here Tuesday, February 17th at noon for the hors d'oeuvres starting, and 12:30 the awards ceremony will start. So,
No team meeting then.
no team meeting that day. We'll do the awards ceremony. John's gonna be in town. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do our nice luncheon again. Oh, and then happy hour on the same night. So it'll be a full day. How fun.
Whole afternoon.
I don't, do you
I'll
know
double
where that's
check.
at yet?
I'm gonna work with Lydia on that, just to make sure it coordinates, so.
Okay. That sounds wonderful. So that'll be fun.
Oh, and Maureen isn't gonna be here. Sorry, this is something Maureen, asked us to put up here, just something that's dear to her heart. It's a dine to donate for No Dog Left Behind, the Tavern Grill, it's this Wednesday, so tomorrow. From 4 to 8, if you're looking to go out to eat with a cause at the Tavern Grill in Minnetonka, and, a percentage of the proceeds goes then to No Dog Left Behind, so.
Awesome. Maybe you have the next one too, Candy?
Yes, so every month we are doing the charity of the month. Last month we did our KW local fund here for our office. In February, we are kind of doing a two-part. So a lot of people right now are looking to see like, how can we help people in our community? And so we have connected with IOCC, Interfaith Outreach. Some of you joined us for Red Day last year, so this is where we went last year. They do help people with rental assistance. And so if you scan that QR code at the top, that takes you right to their donation site. So if that's something that you are compelled to help with, that would be awesome. In the when you use that QR code, you do want to put in there emergency financial assistance, and that lets them know that you want your donation specifically to go towards those people who are coming up against eviction notice. So last year they said that they prevented 458 evictions, and 1 in 4 new clients came to them specifically with housing needs. So they are able to help a lot of people. We also, if that is not something you're interested in, we are also taking food donations here at our market center. We'll post this too. That's a list of the goods that are being requested. So, but we're gonna collect them here at our market center. Or if you're looking for more of a financial straight up donation, rental housing. So.
I make a request that on these can we list if they're a 501c3 moving forward.
Yeah.
I just think that's helpful if you're debating between like a financial donation for tax purposes or buying. Okay.
I will look at that and send that
That'd be
on there before I send this out, okay?
Thanks, Candy.
And now we can start our ALC meeting, which Bethany is going to help lead this morning. Do we have a motion to start the ALC meeting?
Motion to start it.
Awesome. Second?
All right.
Perfect.
Awesome. So I did ask Heather to help represent the market center numbers this morning too. So what we'll do is we'll actually start with those. Kami is out, just supporting the family members. So, Heather, do you want to start with just,
I will. I'll start with Kami's numbers. And so for this is for the month of January. So Kami on her reach outs, which I believe could be telephone, IMs, text messages, everything. She had a goal of 800. She did 547. For contacts, she had a goal of 416. She did 321. For appointments, a goal of 40. She held 26. Her recruits, that's bringing new agents in, is new or transfer agents. She had a goal of 8. She hit 3. For our net agents for the month, we have a goal of 5. We hit -1. So that means we lost 4 agents, gained 3. We have a company dollar monthly goal of 75,000. We hit that and we are at 76,927. And our profit goal for the month is 14,584. I have not closed out the month yet. I have the first 3 business days to get that done. I usually have it done by the end of day today. I'm expecting our profit to be around $11,500. So that's where we will be at.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions on the market center numbers specifically, since those look a little bit different than So same thing. I think there's gonna be a trend just from what I see on the spreadsheet. So January is usually a funky month, and that's not to make excuses. And what you'll see is there's annual goals, and you obviously divide them usually by 11 or 12 months, depending on how you do your goal setting. So there's still plenty of time here to catch up. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like January in many ways was a whole year in itself. And at the same time, I also feel like I'm gonna start the year over February 1. January didn't count. So anyway, it looks, what I think is interesting just in reviewing Kami's numbers is that even though she was behind goal, her conversion ratios were actually really good. So when you're reaching out to people, at least as an agent, obviously this is gonna depend on who you're reaching out to. But for the most part, if you make 50 dials, you can expect to make 10 contacts. Shane, would you say that's pretty accurate? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but as someone that is very consistently generating, especially in their sphere of influence, you reached out to 50 people, you actually make contact with 10.
Yeah.
You think more or less around that?
Probably about right.
Yeah. So her conversion ratios as far as reach outs, which I'll tell you as someone that's been a recruiter, calling realtors is way harder than calling homeowners. Realtors are way meaner to you as a recruiter than homeowners are. So her conversion ratios are great. Okay, Ben, do you want to go next?
Of course. Let's do it. So dials reach out. So my goal is to do 400 in the month, so 100 per week, right? Hit 380, so I was a little under the reach outs, but was able to connect with about 200 people there, which is the goal, and that's on a monthly basis, so about 50 people. Yeah. Appointments, looking to set 17 per month, only set 9, so behind there. Contracts, the goal is to set 14 and a half, only set 7, so behind. Closed units, our goal is 13 per month. We did 10 in January. starting at company dollar profit, we were at about 2/3 of goal. That unit. Or sure month catch up for.
Royce.
It's- I got it. All right, so I had a dial goal of 108. I made 67 dials. Contacts, I actually hit 22 contacts. So conversion rate was pretty good this last month. Appointments was, my goal was 4, I did hit 6. Contracts was, the goal was 3, I did hit 3. Closed units was 2 closed units was my goal. My GCI goal was 30,000. Actual was 44.
I'm up next and I botched January, so I'll just say that. My goal was 1,250 dials. I only made 58. It was 100 contacts. According to my CRM, I only made 7. I know I did more than that based on my appointment setting goal was 6, hit 10. Then contracts goal was 5, hit 7. Closed units goal was 12, team hit 7. Our GCI goal every month is 175. We hit 91,500. And we're still closing our books out. We're looking like we'll be profitable, but I'm just not sure by how much yet. Jacob?
Your contract goal, not much.
Well.
All right, let's see. Dial's goal was 2,400. I was short of that with 1,543. Contacts goal was 240. Again, short on that with 187. That's about a 12% contact rate. Appointments goal was 20. I hit that with 20. Contracts goal was 6. Surpassed that with 14. That included a rental rep, a tenant, and then Sadie on my team listed her own piece of land, or sold it, I guess. But so I'm counting those in there. Closed units goal was 4. We only had 2. I had a couple deals fall apart, and then a couple more that got pushed out. GCI goal was 44,000. I hit 26,412, and then I'm also about a third of the profit of the month.
A lot of appointments. What do you think of the 20 appointments? What were they roughly made of? What were they? How many buyers?
50.
Same with the contract.
For a while.
You really screwed up. You made 1,500 dials.
I have a question.
Hi,
Can you
John.
hear me? Hello, everybody. Say, I noticed when I hear that you've kind of fallen short on whatever goal it was yet. Do you, especially this early in the year, do you add those into your upcoming goals for the year? I mean, do you adjust your goals up so that you hit your annual goal, or do you just go month by month?
I'll answer that I do not adjust mine and I don't recommend doing it only because, for example, I'm going to pretend that I'm coaching someone on my team, but I'm really using my own numbers. If I sat down with someone on my team and they said, well, Bethany, my goal was 1,250 dials and I only hit 58. If I then say, great, next month you need to do 1,500, that's not going to go over well. And like mentally, it just really F's you up. So instead, actually, the conversation needs to be, hey, Bethany, are you going to do 1,250 dials again? Or actually, should we change it to 1,000 dials, but you need to commit to some other lead gen activity that maybe is a better fit for you or gives you a higher conversion ratio. So I do think information is valuable and the data means something. But if you start making the requirements that you need to hit bigger already this early in the year, you're setting yourself up to have a really miserable year. That's fine.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm not adjusting anything, I think. Like closings will work out. I'll have months that I'll beat the goal, to make up for the, so far 1 month being short. So no adjustments.
Okay, thanks. How about during the year, as the year goes on? At what point do you, or maybe you never do you adjust your goals?
My answer.
Yeah, oh, so the first question is, I mean, which is kind of what you said, in terms of we're gonna surpass that in future months, but keep that top of mind so that we are making that effort to not stop at that month, so that we are surpassed. A little bit of Bethany, I like that perspective as well. Also focusing on still accomplishing annual goal. And then John's second question.
It's like, when would you? And I think,
Oh,
so does everyone know what the four models are in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? Okay, the first one just answered economic, which is essentially what we're talking about. The economic model is essentially from activity to closing and profit. What does that entire story look like? What's the second model? Say it again. Lead gen. So the lead gen model is basically, where are those dials, contacts going to come from? Then it becomes your operational model, which is, what is the team that you need around you to actually hit those production numbers? And then the last one is going to be the profit, essentially, the budget model. There we go. So for me, and I would actually guess that Ben is similar, just in our trends, we tend to go very neck and neck. Our two teams do, which is great. It's been healthy competition. And I will say they did beat us last year, which I'm happy for them. And with that, my model is a little bit different than theirs. Like, he and Alex are doing way more of the percentage of the team production than I ever want to do. And so if I look at my numbers, let's say April, John, I'm super far behind. Well, I know that the only reason that is because I haven't recruited and I haven't grown my organization the way I planned to. So then it's either, yes, I need to change my goal if I'm not going to hit that org chart model, or I need to go back and redo it. That's why I think all four models are so important, because if you're behind on one, it's usually due to not doing something in another. So I would say, yes, I'm going to have to change it probably by April or May if I haven't grown and the activities haven't increased. Either that, or I need someone on the team to step up and do more production besides it just being me.
That's beautiful.
You know, with international, John, at the market center, they go ahead in June, right? Isn't it the end of June or July? And they say, hey, if you want to change any of your goals, make any adjustments for where you're at, you can go into our system, and they open it up for you to make any adjustments or changes if you want to do that. So that's kind of interesting that, you know, we're allowed to do that at the market center in the mid-year.
Any other questions regarding just numbers? Okay. So, when I was asked to help lead the ALC meeting today, I was like, well, January is not a lot of data for us to go off of, and we're missing 2 ALC members. So I was like, I don't want this to be an awkwardly uninvolved meeting. And I was thinking through a concept. I actually texted Jason Johnson, and I was like, I hope you're going to be at the office meeting today. And unfortunately, he's got a sick kiddo at home too, so he can't be here. But does anyone know what Jason did before he got into real estate?
Yeah.
He owned a CrossFit gym. And so what I want to talk about today is lead generation, which I know is everyone's favorite topic. But here's the reality. If we don't talk about lead gen, we don't have a business. So
Who knows, has anyone been to a CrossFit workout? I've been to a couple, I did not do well, but I've been to a couple. Okay, what's the concept behind CrossFit? Like, why do you think people are attracted to CrossFit? And what's that called? Yes, CrossFit has a WOD. And what does it stand for?
Out of the day.
Workout of the day. Okay. Now, anyone here have a like Anytime Fitness membership or familiar with Anytime Fitness? Okay. Sorry?
I'm familiar.
Great. And why do people like Anytime?
You can go whenever.
Okay, you can go whenever. You can do whenever, whatever.
Whomever. Sorry.
Is it fair to
Different.
say that the membership costs between the two might be a little bit different?
Yes.
Okay, so this might be a little bit more expensive. And this might just be a little bit more budget friendly. Okay, what else would you say are the differences between, and here's the thing, I'm not dogging on anybody that has an Anytime membership, especially if you use it, because it's way better like than people like me that have a lifetime membership that never go. Okay, so like, what's the difference between these two gym memberships? You have a trainer, love that.
Accountability.
Hi, Derek.
Hi.
Accountability.
Community versus individual.
So community.
Specificity.
You couldn't even say it, so I'm like, how am I supposed to spell this? Okay. Specific. I'm just gonna say it specific. Okay. All right. I want you to think about this. Are you showing up every day with the clarity that you would have in your business if you treated your business like you were showing up to a CrossFit gym instead of an Anytime Fitness? What would it look like if we had the exact same concept for lead generation and we just took these two words out and we said lead gen? Like, what bucket would you fall into? You don't have to answer that. I see a lot of you like, this is freaking
The
awkward.
lifetime one.
Your lifetime?
Well, not the way I do lifetime, or lifetime one. It's here, I just would never go. You know what I mean?
It's like those of us that bought a Peloton and now they're the best place for us to hang our dry cleaning. I bought a Peloton in 2020 and I used it in 2020, maybe 2021, and then my boyfriend got me to sell it this year. He's like, what's the point of this? Okay, back to lead gen. I want you to think about what a WOD would look like for lead gen. Okay? And sometimes we don't do that because we overcomplicate it. And I know I've shared this in a team meeting before because it's like seriously my favorite code ever. Yesterday I was super overwhelmed transparently to the point where I looked at my director of ops and I was like, I just want to light everything on fire today. Like, screw it. And the reason is because we overcomplicate things to justify our inaction. We just make it so freaking complicated so that we don't have to do anything about it. And that can apply to any area of your life, but we're just going to apply it to lead gen today. So here, I've also talked about this before. This is called the lead gen wheel. There are 3 active ways to lead generate. What is the difference between active and passive? Over here, what's the difference between active and passive?
Active, you're actually on something, and passive is just coming to you.
Okay. Great, I agree.
Active is harder.
Active is harder. That's so true. Okay. So when we look at active, these are the 3 ways to actively lead gen. So number 1 is open houses. Who here is doing 1 to 2 open houses every single week? Okay. 4 hands in the room. The second is going to be your sphere of influence. Now, Wendy talked about someone in her sphere of influence reaching out to her and saying they have $1 million points at a referral. Now, do you think they thought of Wendy because she posts really funny Instagram reels? No.
My guess is Wendy's been nurturing that relationship and calling them and checking in with them and grabbing coffee and blah, blah, blah. Right, Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last is going to be prospecting. Now, a lot of people often go like, no, I'm not going to cold call. This actually doesn't have to be cold calling. Here's what I want you to think about with prospecting is actually just building your database. And I don't care how you do it. And arguably, all three of these should be building your database every single day. I'm going to go back to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. They have 4 rules of a database in the MREA book. Who knows what they are? What's the first one? Jess, you should know. I actually am realizing that John, I think our office needs to read the MREA book again. This is rough. Okay, so number 1 is you need to build the database. Personally, I like the term data bank. Like that's how I think about it, is it's a data bank. If you don't have 200 people, this is the fast number, because this should be the first thing you focus on, is a data bank of 200 people. On our team, to even call them part of your 200 people, they need to be a full contact. What do you think a full contact means?
Well, there's contact address, phone.
Email, phone.
Yep. Name, address,
Birthday.
email, phone. So if you don't have these things, in my opinion, you can't make full contact with them, is what I'm going to call it. Anybody in here play a full contact sport? So you're aware what that means? Like, it's the same thing. I played rugby for 8 years, and it's a full contact sport. It's way better than football because we don't have pads. But to actually make a full contact with someone, you have to have all of these. So your first goal should be to get a list of 200 people that you have all of this for. The second rule to this that I've added just personally, I had a professor in college a very long time ago that shared, everyone says that it's about who you know. And she said, I completely disagree. She goes, it's about who knows you. Because you might know someone because you like stalk them on the internet. But if they don't know you, is there actually any relationship or influence that they can give? So these also have to be people that personally you'd be willing to call. You might have all their information, but if you're not willing to call them, then it's not very helpful. As you're doing open houses, if you're just letting people walk through your open house and not engaging them and not getting their contact information, you're not actually building your database to continue that to grow. Rachel, I'm putting you on the spot, but I know you're good at this. How do you get people to sign in at your open houses?
I have a pretty little letter board that says, please sign in. And then I also just say like, oh, if you don't mind, please sign in. Doesn't need to be both of you, just one of you. And then it's like, then they like awkwardly be like, oh, you have the better handwriting. And they're like, oh yeah. And then I creepily just hover so that they feel obligated to write it out.
And with that, I mean, do you ever get pushback from people?
Most of the time it's if they have an agent, and then that's when I like find out. And then I light up a little bit too, especially if they're like, and that's when I ask, of course, who's your agent? Oh, how long have you been looking? Blah, blah, blah.
And what do you do with those sheets when you're done with your open house? Put them in your database. Do you roughly, I'm really putting you on the spot, do you roughly know how many people you added to your database last year doing that? I bet it's a good number. How many do you think you add every open house?
Many recently, just because so many people are coming with their agent. Like this weekend, of the 7 people, 4 people came with their agent. So not as many as.
And I would argue, even if you get 2 to 3 people in your open house signing in that don't have an agent, that's still a win. That's 1 new contact per hour. And when people weren't in your open house, you should be catching up on other work, right? Like, I don't think that goes wasted. And I don't know why agents have gotten the perception that if they don't have 10 people without an agent through their open house, it was a waste of an open house. Right.
Yeah, she taught me that method a few years back when we did an open house together, and just an added piece that we did which I'm still doing, is that on the back of that sheet, we flip it over. And like, if it was, you know, one of the desserts, I'd be like, hey, wearing a blue top, mention that lives in Minnetonka, whatever, just take notes real quick. Because if you get 12, 15 people through, then at least you can be personal too in the first touch back to them. Be like, hey, you know, how's Jessica doing? Like their 2-year-old kid named Jessica. And they're like, what do you mean? How'd you remember that? I don't ever even remember their names, right? But just having those little notes is kind of.
How often, Rachel, do you then follow up?
I follow up with all of them that I know don't have an agent.
And how frequent?
Depends on how well they're responding to me, but I'll send them a couple like email or text, text/call, but twice, 3 times until I get completely ghosted, or if they reply out.
And of course, they're put into the drip for that, where they're getting an email every week, they're getting lunches, they're getting 64 touches that whole year.
Love it. Okay, prospecting is going.
From the team, yeah.
Prospecting is going to be any way that you're building your database. So let's talk through this. Actually, hold on. We're going to talk through that in a second. These are the 3 passive ways to generate deals. So if my agents ever come to me and they're like, well, this is the activity that I did. Like, I actually don't care because you really didn't work that hard. These are the ways that you work hard. So internet, if you get an internet lead, do you know what the average conversion ratio is for an internet lead? 2%. Okay, so you need to generate over 100 internet leads. And I would actually argue it's even harder than that now to close an internet. Now we still generate them because we're promoting our listings, but these are just flowing into you, and then you're just honestly, you usually have to hammer the phone 7 times before they'll even respond to you. Listing leads, this could be a sign call, this could be they see your sign. We've had 2 contracts now where they've taken pictures of our sign as a neighbor and paid attention to how fast we sold it. Actually 3, sorry, now I'm thinking of 3. Where they've saved the information and later reach out to us and they're like, I saw how fast I sold our neighbor's house. We want to work with you. That's a really fun phone call to get. But I also didn't do anything besides put a sign in the yard and get results for the other client. I would argue that's not active lead gen. And then lastly is going to be social media. Now, do I think these 3 things help build your business and your brand and things like that? Absolutely. But I wouldn't track these 3 if it came to my wad, to bring it full circle. Prospecting. What could those activities be to add people to your database? Ben, what could that be?
Door knocking, calling.
I need another call. Door knock. Call. Who else? Jacob, what else could that be?
Call.
Huh?
Call.
We just said call. What else could it be?
Networking, guys?
Networking. Okay.
Internet ad.
Present? Welcome back. Okay, anything else? Prospecting. I would argue that mail's passive.
What about past high events and stuff that you do? I know you got Sphere up there, but that's, you know, that is prospecting to the Sphere because they're giving you referrals after coming to the events.
So back to Royce's comment about mail, I would say mail counts if you're being strategic about it. If you're actually farming a neighborhood, if you're just sending one mailer, you might get lucky. But I actually think the power in, I'm going back to the MREA book, but if you read the lead generation section, it talks about if you want to start a farm, you have to do something called an 8x8 first, which means you touch them once a week for 8 weeks. So you have to be like super involved. It took us over a year to break into the farm that we have now. And no, actually, I think it might have taken us 2 years. But after the 2 years, now we're generating 1.5 million in closings a year from that farm, but that takes time and that takes money. So I would say the big ones are going to be door knocking, circle prospecting, networking events,
And for networking events, I would say that doesn't just have to be like B&I, that could be, I think I've shared this before too, like going anywhere where you can meet new people and you add them to your database.
Can I add another one?
Yes, please.
The neighborhood exclusive open house invite, whether it's before an open house, at the first open house, we've had a lot of success with that lately because the neighbors all want to see the house anyway. And if you do something with them, then you've got all of them. They're all there and, signing in and everything and talking to each other. And it's just been really good because you're about to sell the house. As long as you sell it. You don't sell it, then obviously you got a problem having done that, but it's going, that can help. And that's very, direct.
Okay, so looking at these 3 things, here's what I want you to work on and think about is what could your WOD be? So if it's a workout of a day, that could be, for sure, should involve your sphere. Should probably involve some form of prospecting. And then if it's an open house, I would argue that your WOD could be prepping for that open house by either circle prospecting, door knocking, or somehow engaging the people around it to get that open house, like to get those people to the open house. I've thought about for the people that took a picture of our sign, that again, that's us being like, that's luck. What if I would have door knocked and been like, hey, just wanted to let you know I just sold your neighbor's house, 3 days on the market, 10,000 and I've got a list of buyers that want to be in your neighborhood. Have you thought about moving? I actually probably, if one person in that neighborhood was willing to take a sign, picture of the sign, that was me being passive. If I would have been active about it, what other business could have I generated? So, anyone have any thoughts on what your WOD could look like? Or maybe you have a WOD right now.
I have to wonder if one neighbor's doing that. I bet a couple of them are talking about it.
I would argue, yes, you could send, just in case I this, is like, yes, you could send a just sold postcard, but I still would count that as being pretty passive. And I think most of the times we don't get active out of either A, pure laziness, or 2, fear. And usually the fear is because we don't know what to say.
Okay, now.
Well, I don't know about you, but I definitely feel like in January I kind of showed up like I was going anytime. Yeah, I was at the office, but this was a wake up call for me. I did not come up with this analogy. A business partner of mine did, Chris Suarez, and when he said it, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's like a pretty direct way to be like. And you could start with a big goal, but my encouragement to you would be, I'm working on, okay, can I just talk to 5 people a day? Can I make 5 contacts a day? And however many dials it gets to, then I'll use that information to figure out how do I increase it from there. If there's anyone in the room that's like, Bethany, I don't know where to start with a WOD, and you don't feel like you have the business. Here's what gets in my way is we have the business. My phone is ringing, and I need to get certain things off my plate so I have the time to lead generate. Like I am way too stuck in the weeds right now and some stuff. What my dream WOD would look like would be 50 outbound dials a day, which should generate 10 contacts a day, which means I should make 50 contacts a week. So 50 outbound dials a day, and that would be in my sphere. I personally only do open houses now if I can't find someone to do them, but I will do them. And let's say I wanted to do 1 open house a week into the spring market, then my next goal would be to make 10 dials a day promoting my open house. Most of the time, those people aren't going to answer, so then you're just leaving a voicemail. And then prospecting, I do still have this pretty like dialed in, where I go to at least 1 to 2 events a month. And so I just figure out which week that's going to be.
but I'm pre-planning, so maybe I'm spending the time figuring out what are those events. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? Didn't have anything to add.
That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Well, I know we have, Candy, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yeah. Yeah, do you want to?
You.
Okay. I didn't know if you were in here, so.
So I want to introduce everybody to my favorite nephew, Brandon, wife Jen, and they own a company called All Hands on Deck. And guess what they do for a living?
Manicures.
So, everybody do me a favor, get out your cell phones right now. I got some Starbucks gift cards. So, type in the number, send a text to 952-607-6883 with your first name.
Say that again.
Or- Okay, 952-607-6883. Send your first name and a text to that number.
Last 4 digits.
6883.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm so sorry.
All righty, now you're gonna save that in your phone, obviously, as my favorite deck builder, or All Hands on Deck. And, Brandon, All Hands on Deck. I'm gonna let Brandon take over from here, and when he's through, then we'll have the gift cards to give away. Take it on.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Our names are Brandon and Jen Kopendryer with All Hands on Deck. And we are your backyard contractors.
Yeah, so started in 2024. We young in name, but not by experience. Jen's got a lot of business management background, and I've been building decks and porches for some of the bigger guys since about 2017. Great attention to detail and strong commitment to learning how to build better. We take pride in every job, big or small.
We do. And while we do keep busy with decks, this year we're excited to be expanding into full-on backyard contractors. So we are partnering with some other great trades to offer all sorts of things from landscape network to also.
We're here in front of you today because we understand the importance of relationships, all aspects of our lives, clients. We need that referral that you can depend on to give to them to uphold that relationship and treat them with the professionalism that they do. Guys, don't take up too much of your time here. We
Questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your process. So like, people are like, Bethany, I want to add a deck. I want to send them over to you. Like, do you go walk the site with them and then create renderings? Like, what does that look like?
Yep, no, definitely. We handle everything from permits and design to the final inspection.
You want me to, is it this one? Yep, there you go.
Yep. So yeah, simple on-site consultations, clear scopes and pricing. We're transparent and all of that. And we handle everything from permitting to walkthrough.
And do you do maintenance free and
Maintenance free and like.
sure.
So, yeah, we do maintenance free. We'll definitely try to meet it. But one of the reasons I've been building for some of the other big guys for a long time, and a lot of cookie, a few show pieces, but a lot of cookie cutter stuff, and I'm just trying to get into some more. Anything else?
You guys using concrete footings or using helical piers? What do you?
Yeah, no, we've especially in my age, I've tried to move away from concrete. Yeah, diamond piers and helical piers are.
Diamond piers only where they're allowed, obviously, because only half.
Diamond piers, we're getting to a point now where, you're very rare to find one that doesn't Well, not very rare, I mean, there are still a few, but they're pretty widely accepted.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got your traditional concrete footing, which is just a hole dug below the frost line, filled with concrete, and, about 15 years ago, they came up with a diamond pier, which is just, pretty much an engineered chunk of concrete with some, steel pins that they drive to them down below the frost line, perform real well. And now, one of the newer things in deck building is, helical piles, which is where, they actually, a separate contractor will come in and drill a big screw pile into the ground, to reach a certain point, So, but a lot of houses are built on them and stuff, to really meet, big load requirements, there's.
Yeah, helical piles can support foundations and lift houses and they're strong. If you were to pick, I'm just testing you here, if you were to pick a material that you would choose to put on your deck that's maintenance free, would it be Trex or AZEK or what would it be?
I'm a big promoter of, decorators.
Decorators,
We're a decorator certified installer. I mean, they might not have the biggest name. They're starting to grow a name. I think they sponsor the PGA.
And that's what is that like a this Jack or Raiders?
Jack or Raiders, yeah, Raiders. Yeah, they got that line of mineral-based composites that I'm a really big fan of. I think, traditional composite, you think sawdust and glue compressed into a board, or the mineral-based composite, like a crushed stone compressed into a board. They got some really interesting products, and, just like everybody else, I got lines to meet everybody. As far as stainings, not a whole lot of stainings. Repairs will do. Painting and staining, not my forte. And yeah, fine, painter and stainer. If you need to repair that, paint it and stain it as well. Definitely help you.
You do only open decks or screen porches?
Covered decks and reinforced and screen porches. Yep. Accessory dwellings. We're trying to get into some accessory dwellings, yeah, saunas and outdoor gyms and
Outdoor kitchen.
outdoor offices and that kind of shit.
And actually, the full general contractor, fully licensed general contractor, so, and he does have connections. His dad, my brother, actually is in a different part of the home remodeling business. So he's a great source if you need somebody for something, call Brandon, because there's a good chance that he knows somebody who does.
So actually, I have a friend who's looking for a deck and he's got a large silver maple backyard. Which, roots are closer to the surface. It upended a deck that was close to the ground. So how do you manage?
Big old silver maple there? Yeah, probably. Yeah, you don't build that close to it. No. That's how you manage that one. Yeah, they can be tricky, especially the bigger they get. Yeah, you tend to just try to stay away from them. Down the line, down the line, I mean, Mother Nature is a powerful thing, so. Helical piles might be a good alternative if you go down deep enough to get past all the root system, go down that deep. That might be an option in a case like that. Anchor into the bedrock with
Deck raised.
one trust them. It's not moving. They're powerful. Yeah, and that's my biggest, that's my best solution.
Glad to have a referral.
For agents who list houses, obviously, or look at houses, decks are one of those things that obviously can definitely, when you're listing a house, look pretty bad and not be something that's real appealing to selling your house. So, definitely something, and value wise, Brandon, what, like, in your career putting decks on, you've seen some pretty expensive decks that you've been part of or whatever. I mean, upwards of $100,000 for some of the decks that he puts on. So appreciate, when you come upon a house that obviously has, big spectacular deck, hey, the value, it's one thing I've always, thought about in new construction. When I build a house for somebody and I tell them it's $400 or $500 a square foot, but the screen porch of the deck is not included in that square footage. And one house has it, one house doesn't. You go, well, wait a minute, that would change the price. If this house didn't have a deck and it's 500,000 and that one did and it's 520, well, it's 520 is a way better deal because you can't hardly build a deck. So it's something to keep in mind when it comes to decks and screen porches like that. The value, they have a huge value to them, but we don't give them value when we go to sell.
That value, yeah, I think they could.
Timing wise, Brandon, what's a typical when you go to somebody's house and they want to, permit wise, you can get a permit in a day, most,
On just a normal deck.
yeah.
On it. Yeah, I mean, if I'm just building the deck, I'll be permitting, you're never looking at more than a week.
Okay.
Um,
And then for your build time on a typical 16 by 16, off the ground.
With stairs.
With stairs, yeah. Yeah, I mean, 16 by 16 with stairs, talking about just. Can have 1 to 2 weeks.
And for all you ladies who want to get a deck building, Jen standing there is on the job with Brandon. She's a lady deck builder.
Do you finish deck projects that another contractor started?
I'll look at it, yeah, I'll look at it, and, yeah, it just depends on what you really got yourself into. Good chance I'm gonna suggest that you just knock it over and start over as much as it hurts. It just makes more sense.
And how about tearing off a deck?
Work goes into.
How about demo? Would you, some of these houses that we go to that hey, let's just take it out. We don't have the money to build a new one, but this one needs to be taken off because it would make the house look better. So good question, if you got a deck that, hey, you can go there with the crew and remove a deck from a house and get it out of there. So at least there's a, fresh palette.
Most respect for your property.
Yes, absolutely.
Just rule of thumb is, what's the price difference between
For the, looking at least twice. I don't know. They all have all lines down there, entry level. Pretty. But yeah, some sort of cost.
Sometimes just do railing even. I mean, that's nothing to think about. Hey, basically I can go out there and put, change the curb appeal dramatically by just putting new railing on.
Awesome, well, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for dropping We met at Jimmy John's 15.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, Brandon.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay, so let's say, you got $2. What's birthday number 1?
Is 10-10.
Number 10.
Number 10 on there.
The 10th,
Okay.
the 10th one.
It starts, no, it's gonna be that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Jackie.
Oh, which one? Oh, sorry.
Oh, it just says Jackie.
Uh-oh. You just said
What
that.
number?
760.
So that's a California number.
Sorry, the other day.
How about let's do the 7th one from the top.
Top down?
Yeah. Correct.
We can't do that because it's the same person.
Oh. Okay.
Kevin's at the bottom.
Ben.
All right, let's do the first person that texted for the last 2 cards. What's the first text you got?
First person that texted me
Who's the fastest?
was Jess.
Number.
612.
Anyone, please, before we finish up?